Hello everybody. Today we're going to talk about naming parts of triangles and identifying included angles and included sides. So we're going to start off with the first example. And we've got this picture of a triangle. The sides are labeled with lengths, and we've got the vertices labeled I, J, and R. Now the first thing we're going to do is name this triangle. Now there are technically 6 different ways we can name this. All we need to do is draw the triangle symbol and then say 3 of the letters in any order we want. So I'm just going to name it I, J, R. I could also name it IRJ, JRI, JIR, RJI, and RIJ. So I just need to use all 3 letters and the triangle symbol in front of it in order to name the triangle. Now when I name the vertices, I'm going to name each of the angles. So if I start with the first angle, say angle I, I'm actually going to name this using 3 letters, just so we practice naming angles properly. So I can name it angle JIR. I could also name that angle RIJ, but I will stick with that one. Now if I want to name angle R, I'm going to name it IRJ. Remember that the vertex of an angle is always in the middle of the 3 letters when we name an angle. So IJR would be another way to name angle R. And then finally angle J, I can call angle RJI. So those are my 3 angles named. And now I need to name the sides. So my 3 sides are all line segments, so I'm going to use just a bar above them. So I've got JI, IR, and RJ. Remember, with a line segment, the order does not matter, so I could have named these IJ, RI, and JR respectively. So this is how I name a triangle, using the 3 letters with the triangle symbol in front. I name the vertices, which are also angles. I name them using 3 letters, with the middle letter being the vertex. Vertices is plural of vertex. And then when I name the sides, I need to be sure to put a bar over the 2 letters. And notice that those 2 letters are vertices themselves. So here are the definitions that we're going to be focused on today. Included sides and included angles. Now, included sides are simply sides that are between 2 given angles. So I think the key word here is between. Same goes for included angles. They are angles of a triangle between 2 given sides. Now, why we talk about this now is we're going to talk about included sides and included angles a lot when we begin to do proofs, which will begin very, very soon. Now, we're going to talk about some examples, how we name triangles and name included sides and included angles. So this triangle, my vertices are labeled with the letters K, R, and F, so I'm going to name it triangle K, R, F. Now we've got our first question about an included side. So if I see the word side, I'm thinking 2 letters because I need to name a line segment. So I need to find the side between angles R and F. Well, this isn't rocket science. I can simply write the letters R and F and put a bar over them because that is the segment that connects these 2. Now when I look at the next one, it says name an included side between K and R. So again, a side, I'm looking for 2 letters. Well, between K and R is segment KR. I simply need to copy the letters down because between these 2 angles is the side KR. Now the next questions deal with included angles, so I should be using 3 letters to name these angles. So between side KF and FR would be this angle here, F. Now I'm going to go in the same order I traced from K to F to R, and I'm going to name this angle KFR. So again, F was the letter that was shared in common between these two line segments. F is in the middle of my angle that I named. K and R, the two distinct letters from those line segments, go on the outside. So then for the last one, in between sides KR and KF, so between KR and KF, I know I'm going to get angle K because it's repeated. So I simply need to name angle K using 3 letters. So I'm going to name it angle RKF. I could also do angle FKR. But again, K was the shared letter between those two sides, so K needs to go on the middle when I name this included angle. So let's take a look at another example. This one wants me to name all of the triangles. Now, there's a lot of triangles here, and we'll see if we can get them all in one fell swoop. So I'm going to outline them as I get them. So triangle DOA, triangle DOC, triangle COB, triangle BOA, then I'm going to switch to a different color to get the big triangles. So I've got triangle DAB, and I'm just going to rotate around, triangle ACB, triangle BCD, then what other one do I have? I did the bottom left, bottom right, top right. I've got DAC, triangle DAC. So now, the next question is asking me what the overlapping parts are. So this is going to be key because we're going to use a property known as the reflexive property, which basically means segment AB, for example, is congruent to itself. That'll be very important when we have to prove that two triangles are congruent, because we will know that they share two sides, which means those two sides are congruent to one another. So we want to find the overlap of DAB and CBA. Well, as you can see, they both share the letters A and B, so the overlapping part is segment AB. Now if I look at the next question, it says name the overlapping parts of ADC and CBA. Now I should be able to do this without even looking at the picture, because I noticed that A and C are my repeated letters. So let's double check. Triangle ADC is here, and triangle CBA is here. So they share this segment right across the middle, that diagonal, and we call that segment AC or CA. I skipped example 3, so we'll come back to that in a bit. This one wants me to name included sides, so I should be thinking 2 segments. So in between angle ODC, so this angle here, and OCD, it's hard to say without mixing those two up, in between those two angles is this segment from D to C. Again, you could get that by noticing the two letters are repeated, D and C, or you could get it by referring to your picture. Now the next question says name the included side between angles ODC and COD. I notice again that they have all 3 letters are the same. So I shouldn't have said that on the last one, because technically they repeated all of the letters. So we do need to refer to the picture. So the next one says ODC, so that would be this angle here, and then angle COD. I'll do that in a different color. Angle COD. It's that angle here. So we're in between this red angle and this blue angle here. And so the side between those is DO. Okay, so again, we're finding the angles. We have to remember that the middle letter is the vertex. And then we are determining which side is between those two angles. Now the next ones deal with included angles. So I know I need to be using 3 letters. So I highlight segment DC, highlight segment BC, and I see that this angle here is in the middle. Now I have to be careful when I name this. I can't just say angle C because there's technically 3 different angles there. So I notice that it goes from D to C to B. Pardon me. So it goes from D to C to B. So I'm going to name it angle DCB. So for example, if we had to name the included angle between DC and segment CA, that would be this angle here, which we could call angle DCA or angle DCO. Now the last question asks for the angle between AO and BO. So you're tempted to say AOB. Well, let's double check. So segment AO is here, and segment OB or BO is here. So the angle that we're looking for is right here, and that would be named angle AOB. So before I get ahead of myself, let's jump back to the example that I skipped, angle 3, where we first see some examples of overlapping sides. So we're going to name these triangles. So that includes the letters F, E, and H. So triangle F, E, H. And then there's this triangle here, triangle FGH. And if you notice, the overlapping part was the segment from H to F. Again, I have to use the bar over that to indicate that it is a line segment. So let's jump to example 6 on the overlapping parts. So the question is, where excuse me, do JBH, let's trace that one out, and DBF overlap, if anywhere? So DBF. So where do they overlap? They only overlap in a few spots, and that's from J to B, and from B to H. So they didn't share an entire side in common, but part of the smaller triangle was overlapped by the bigger triangle. So if we go to the next one, we've got triangle EBC, and triangle FCB. You can see we overlapped at the bottom, which was segment BC. That's the last example. So as you can see, we talked about included sides, which were between 2 angles. Sides were named with 2 letters and a line above them. Included angles were angles between 2 sides. We named those using 3 letters with the angle symbol in front, and the middle letter is the vertex of the angle. And lastly, we talked about overlapping parts, which are simply parts that are right on top of each other. So these will be very important concepts as we begin to talk about proofs.